Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some books that are about Urdu and Punjabi poetry. Links to all of them, if available, are going to be down below, linking to bookshop.org, which works with independent booksellers to help them generate a little bit extra income. Also, another note, audio might be a little bit off on here. My camera is basically gone and it needs to be plugged in to use, and being plugged in causes some audio interference. I'm going to sound a little bit weird after I do some audio editing, but thank you for watching. Links to all of my social channels are going to be down below, including my Instagram, my Goodreads, and my Patreon, so please go check those out as well, and let's get into the video. The first one we're going to be talking about is the poetry of Heer. If you are like Punjabi or, South Asian, you probably know this. If you don't, if you've seen the movie Jab Tak Hai Jaan, there's a song where Katrina Kaif sings called Heer. That's basically based off this epic poem. This book is less of an academic look. It's basically just a translation of the poem, which I highly recommend you check out at least once in your life, regardless of where you're from. It's a beautiful story. But it also does have like footnotes when it's talking about certain parts of the book to give some further explanation. There's also a little bit of a translator's note at the beginning as well, which is also really helpful. But yeah, I think, it's not the most beautiful book, but it's a really good look into the poem and a good translation, at least what I seem to think it is. And yeah, it's really interesting. It's like, if you are especially Punjabi, it's like that poem that everyone knows. It's like really closely linked to like Punjabi culture as a poem. It's like one of those works that really stands out, if you get what I mean. So I think this one, if you just want to like experience an epic poem, I think you should pick up this. And yeah, the link's going to be down below. The second book I'm going to be talking about is The Rebel Sillouhette. It's a selected poem collection by Faiz Ahmed Faiz. Faiz Ahmed Faiz is like, he was a super political poet. He was a staunch Marxist. Shout out to him for that, at the very least. Beautiful poet of Urdu poetry, and also was a staunch opposition towards some of Pakistan's early governments, particularly the military one. So yeah, him as an individual is really interesting as well, which you kind of see reflected in his poetry. This edition of the book is also really good because it has a big translator section at the beginning, basically where the translator is going through and explaining why they made certain choices surrounding their translations. He also gives some background to Faiz Ahmed Faiz and his life and that influence on his poetry. So I thought that was really great when it came to this collection. The translations themselves seem pretty accurate. I'll be honest, I can't really read Urdu, so I gave this to my dad and I was like, Dad, do the translations make sense? And the one or two that I managed to get him to read, he was like, yeah, it makes sense. So there you go. And I think that, like, especially when you're translating poetry, it's very difficult and it's very different. So I think the way it is translated and sort of the message that the translator was trying to keep, I think is done really well. Again, when you're reading translated text, especially when it comes to poetry, it's a little bit more difficult because you're trying to keep the sort of structure of the poetry whilst also conveying the message, but using a completely different language, and especially a language like Urdu is really, it's very poetic. It's meant to be very lyrical, sort of. It was originally the language of the Mughal courts, and then it disseminated into Pakistan as a language, which not everyone speaks. Obviously, a lot of people speak some of the other languages, but I think Urdu is the official language of Pakistan, despite Pakistan being made of many ethnic groups. So that's a completely different bag of worms that I don't think we'll discuss in this video. And the final book I'm going to talk to you about is a tribute to Ghalib, 21 Ghazals Reinterpreted. Ghalib was he was in the Mughal royal court. He's one of the best known Urdu poets ever to have lived. He was there around the fall of the Mughal Empire when the British came in, and he became a very staunch advocate for the empire and opposing the British afterwards as well. Not the British Empire, the Mughal Empire prior to the British. I just get that out there. And he sort of even wrote about the fall of Delhi to the British after the mutiny, which kind of led to the end of the Mughal Empire, or the Mughal rulers that weren't puppets, obviously. This book is a little bit more of an academic text compared to the others, in the sense that after every poem or ghazal, it goes through, it gives you a translation, a transliteration, I believe, as well, and it also gives you a very detailed analysis as well. This one's the more academic of the text. So if you want something that's a little bit more like my lighting, I can't show this cover off properly. If you want something a little bit more academic, this is the one I would pick up. The other ones are more just the poems themselves. And also, unrelated to the book, but I'll see if I can find the company, but there's a company that is putting the poems of Ghalib on, like, I don't know what the English word is, dupatta, so like the scarves worn in like South Asian clothes. They're printing them on there. It's quite cool. I know one person with it. If I can find pictures of them, I'll show it here, but I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, again, if you're interested in the more slightly academic reading, but again, it's still like a pop academic book. It's not like super duper academic, so don't worry about that. This is the one I would pick up. So those are 3 books I want to talk to you guys about today. Thank you for watching. We're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers. Let's try and get there by the end of April. That would be amazing. As always, the links to the books, if available, are going to be in the description down below. If not, I'll put the ISBNs for them for you to kind of search. All the links to my social feeds will be in the description down below, as well as an UNRWA donation link to help the people in Palestine. If you can donate even £1, that would be fantastic. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, if you have any other books about Urdu poetry that you would recommend. Again, I can't read Urdu, so I would like something with maybe transliteration as well as a translation. That would be great. There's one book I really want, but it's only available in Pakistan, and to ship it here, it's going to cost me like 100 quid, and I don't want to do that. But I really, really want that book, but I can't get it outside of Pakistan, and I don't know anyone who's there at the moment to get it for me. But thank you for watching the video. Like I said, like, subscribe, share the video, comment down below if you've read any of these or have any suggestions. And yeah, I hope you read a great book today.